So you've been playing Warframe for a little bit, maybe you've got 100 hours or so in the game, or maybe you just downloaded it last week. Whatever your situation, you've probably at least looked through the market and gawked at the Warframe section. There are a lot of choices, and the game only starts you out with just one of them. How's it going, everyone? I'm BouseFeenux, and today I wanted to put together this little video in an effort to help new players develop a sort of formula for choosing their next Warframe. Let's get to it. At the time of this video, there are a little over 40 Warframes if you count the prime variants of the Warframes that have them. That's almost MOBA levels of hero choice, and when you look at it this way, choosing your next Warframe can be a bit of a staggering process. To make matters worse, a storage slot must be purchased for each new Warframe you acquire, unless that Warframe is purchased with Platinum, which is the game's hard currency. If you're playing Warframe on a budget, this can be a paralyzing feeling, and it might largely affect the Warframes you choose to play with. I remember myself when I started playing this game almost 3 years ago, I had no idea where to even start as a new player in acquiring new Warframes, and back then there were a lot less to choose from. As such, I've put together a few pieces of advice to help you guys out in picking the next character you play. My first piece of advice in selecting a Warframe is extremely simple, and it's something another player told me right after I started really getting into this game, and I've never forgotten it because it worked so well for me. That advice was to pick whichever Warframe you think looks the coolest. I swear I'm not BSing you guys here, it really is that simple. Warframe is a very unique game in some ways, and outside of a very few specific Warframes, you can pretty much choose whatever one you want and be able to progress through the game. They're all designed in a way that if you can get comfortable with them, you can pretty much progress through most situations unhindered. A lot of people will argue this or that, but for the most part, the characters in this game are all useful in some way, and if built correctly, you can't really go wrong. Now, that's not to say that they don't all have strengths and weaknesses, but that's something that you as a new player will have to figure out and overcome through your own playstyle. Speaking of playstyle, this next piece of advice pretty much piggybacks off the first. If you're new to Warframe, no matter how little you've played it, you've probably quickly realized that this game is extremely abstract in its design. There aren't many games I can say are exactly like Warframe. In fact, the closest I can get to describing Warframe to someone who has never played it is to say that it's pretty much Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on steroids. That being said though, if you've played any other class-based game or MMO, you'll probably have a good idea as an individual of what you like your role to be. Are you a damage dealer? Do you like support type classes? Are you a fan of tanky characters? Regardless of Warframe's unique design, you'll find that concepts like these still apply to this game, and you'll be pleased to know that you can use these preferences to facilitate your choice in a new Warframe. As such, I highly recommend taking a look at the market or your codex and reading up on different Warframes and what they do. Another option you have is checking out my series of Watch It in Action videos in which I go over in detail how I play and mod each Warframe. Those two options combined should give you a pretty good idea of what a particular Warframe is all about, but remember that nothing is going to beat actually playing it for yourself to get the best opinion. So in short, to sum all this up, find your playstyle or what you actually like doing in games like this, and try to find a Warframe you think that would fit that style based on its description in-game, and that should be a pretty good starting point for you. My final piece of advice is more of a question than anything. One of the most important things you can ask yourself as a Warframe player before choosing a new Warframe to go after is, do I plan on playing with a group or solo most often? With such a large amount of Warframes to choose from, you can bet that, as I said earlier, they'll all have different strengths and weaknesses. Some Warframes are very good at being self-sufficient, while others' usefulness is only really truly realized in group play. While Warframe is a game that very much rewards social play, sometimes it's not always practical to get a group together, or maybe you just want to have a session of gameplay all by yourself. Whether you're a very social or solo player, I would definitely take this into account when choosing your next frame. Again, resources like YouTube videos, the Warframe forums, or Guides of the Lotus, which are actual players appointed by Digital Extremes dedicated to helping new players, can be fantastic places to get these questions answered. And that about covers it for today, guys. To sum everything up, we talked about a few pieces of advice to consider before choosing a new Warframe. To simplify those pieces, they were A, go with what looks cool, B, determine your playstyle and go from there, and C, think about whether you want to mostly play solo or in a group. group. Now, eventually, if you end up really liking this game, I highly recommend getting and trying out every Warframe available. Not only will it make you a better player in the long run, but you'll also have a much deeper understanding of the game and of other players. I really hope this video was helpful to you guys, and if it was, or you just enjoyed watching it, hit that like button to support more Warframe content like this. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. It's free, and I put out new Warframe content more or less daily. Also, you know, I'm working on gaining enough subscribers so that maybe one day I can afford this majestic, wonderful Keemstar Dakimakura. Anyways, guys, I'm BouseFeenux. I'll see you guys at the next video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.